Okay. So there, did you ever hear of the group Morality in Media?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Morality in Media has been around for 60 years, and they've been fighting against porn that entire time. Except in about 2015, they went sneaky and they changed their names. And they changed it to the National Coalition of Sexual Exploitation or something like that.
Yeah.
NCOSE, NCOSE. So they used to try to do a lot of lobbying to get the federal government to pursue obscenity cases against porn companies. And so they've kind of dropped that idea. And now what they're doing is they've hired law firms from all over the country to bring lawsuits under the Sex Trafficking Acts against platforms as well as producers, trying to use every means available. Like one of the things that was brought up is like, if the studio didn't pay the model directly, but instead paid the agent, that could be evidence of sex trafficking. Okay. So a lot of times there were cases or there were situations where agents said to producers, don't pay the model, pay me, and then I'll pay the model. Well, to them, that means the model never got paid. And therefore, if the model's not getting paid, that's sex trafficking.
You know, the danger that happens with censorship is when you have radical groups who enter companies and try to force these companies to bend in their whim by having constant meetings with them. And these companies, they tend to bend so they'll be able to say, well, we're talking with you, so don't protest us, don't, shun us or anything like that. One such company, such organization is NOSC, who's basically formerly known, and I still call them Morality in Media, a religious group who is an anti-porn lobby, who has some politicians behind them. They've done some, how can I say, some non-legitimate things that they've used people to try to push their agenda. And one thing we found out is they're meeting with the division of Meta on a constant basis. But before we start, just want to thank you for clicking on this video, subscribing, liking, sharing, and commenting it. We really do appreciate that. It helps boost ourselves in the algorithm on all of our social media platforms. Thank you once again. From XBiz, anti-porn lobby NOSC boasts of regular meetings with Instagram. A top executive for NOSC, a religiously inspired anti-lobby group formerly known as Morality in Media, wrote this week that members of the organization have met regularly with Meta executives responsible for Instagram moderation. In a fundraising article Monday on the organization's website, NOSC Vice President Haley McNamara boasts of a decade worth of alleged success by the organization's annual Dirty Dozen campaign. That campaign shames corporations that NOSC accuses of contributing to sexual exploitation, a term applied extremely broadly, including to the entire adult industry and any other platform or company that does not subscribe to its censorship standards regarding sexual content. And it's not only sexual content. This group was also known many years ago that they didn't like comedy. They went after George Carlin back in the 1970s.
In 1973, John H. Douglas, a self-appointed media watchdog, heard the routine on the radio while he was driving his son home after visiting colleges. The station was WBAI, an affiliate of Pacifica Radio, and they had actually been airing the uncensored routine as part of an intellectual discussion about language taboos. Backed by his organization, Morality in Media, Douglas filed a complaint with the FCC and asked that Pacifica lose its license to broadcast. The FCC's investigation of the incident would last months.
Claiming success in NOSC's effort targeting Instagram, McNamara It asserts while Instagram still has more work to do, they have met regularly with the National Center on Sexual Exploitation to hear and address our concerns. McNamara added those meetings have resulted in an increase some protections for children by improving their systems to identify grooming behavior patterns and no longer allow adult strangers to send unsolicited direct messages for minors. Each policy helps prevent abuse for its 1 billion monthly users. Experts contact Meta for content on McNamara's claim about the regular meetings affected policy, but received no answer. One of the stated goals of NOSC is to eradicate pornography and all forms of sex work by striking deep at the roots of the system which support and sustain sexual abuse and exploitation. Formed by clergy in the early 1960s, NOSC views on pornography as deeply damaging social influences that corrodes the relationship, erodes the sensibilities and sexual freedoms of consumers, dehumanizing those who make it. Over the years, the group has labeled pornography everything from 18th century novels that mention sex work to Sports Illustrated and Cosmopolitan magazines to the mainstream movies and TV shows depicted human sexuality. McNamara article also celebrates support of NOS forcing Carl's Jr. to stop producing hypersexual misogynistic ads for their fast food products, CVS to remove the annual Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue from their checkout areas and promotional displays, Army and Air Force stopped to selling what group terms pornographic magazines, Hilton's hotels wide Hyatt resorts and intercontinental hotel groups to stop showing in-room adult content, Snapchat to deplatform all sex workers, and Walmart to remove Cosmopolitan magazines from checkout lines of all of its stores across the country. Yes, ladies, you're wondering why you couldn't get Cosmopolitan at your checkout lines? Yeah, this was the group that was responsible for it. Cosmopolitan, like Playboy, places women's value primarily on their ability to sexually satisfy a man and therefore feeds on the culture that premises that male sexual entitlement. McNamara declares, NOS is grateful for Walmart's leadership to reduce the amount of unsolicited sexual objectifying material that bombards youth and adults alike. As experts reported, McNamara, in her capacity as the head of the NOS-controlled International Center on Sexual Exploitation, was a crucial contributor to the recent anti-porn document by the UK All-Parliamentary Group on Commercial Sexual Exploitation, which repeated the anti-porn myths and recommended the state crackdown of sexual expression online. See, the thing is, and you got to put this into your perspective. Think of the time period when this happened. The 1960s was the rise of morality in media. What was happening at the same time? At that time period was the end of the Hays Code. And the Hays Code was run partially by religious groups at that time period. And you know when you hear the situations that you have people that saying that we can't have this, we can't have that, it's censorship. It's pure censorship. Supreme Court got rid of the Hays Code for that exact reason. If you're, and this is why there was a change in name. Morality in Media. Now it's the National Center on Sexual Exploitation. Toughen up the name, strengthens what you want people to believe in. And that's the situation on there. Yeah, is there sexual exploitation out there? Yeah, of course there is. There's always going to be it. Whether there's porn or whether there isn't porn, there's going to be some sort of sexual exploitation. But the thing about it is also sex sells. When you have magazines like Cosmopolitan being pulled off on there, they had a lot of educational stuff in there as well. You took away an educational tool. Now, you may not think of it, but see, this is the same thing. Same situations that the gay cable network was going through, that they offered, even though they talked about sex and how to do this and that, they also discussed about health safety. You don't think magazines like Cosmo had not done that? Of course they did. Of course they did. Yes, it was tailored to women. It was a woman's magazine. How many other magazines are the same way? There are plenty of others that way. Yes, how to make your man love you better and all that. How to keep your man. You know, sometimes there are situations where couples get a little bored of each other because, you know, they're not enticing themselves. You know, they have their itch to scratch, but they can't scratch it with each other. So, you know, you have to invent things to try to entice the relationship, to keep, if anything, from a religious group to keep, you know, who basically frowns on divorce. This is, if anything, this is trying to keep the couple together, to keep the married couple together. But yet, you know, it falls on deaf ears. It falls on deaf ears, and this is the thing that this is the things that happen. So, tell me in the comments below your thoughts. What do you think of this situation? Because, you know, them teaming up with Instagram in the situation it's just Meta bending the knee to the whole situation. They don't want them on the back. You see Nosk how they're attacking on Pornhub and other sites. This is their motive. They're always going to be doing this. They're always going to try, and it's not only in the U.S. It's overseas as well. You know, they're funding the UK stuff. So let me know in the comments your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye now.